Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Farming Simulator 17, and welcome back to the Western Shore. So it is the first day of winter, and we are going to unload the BGA today, but we're going to do one thing before we do that. We're going to take milk down to the sell point. Let's take a look around the farm and just see what we've been able to get ready for next spring. With seasons, your cows make a ton of hard manure in the winter, and this is the pile that we have here. I think this is probably close to 40, maybe 50,000 liters. It's really adding up nicely. And then over here, we've got our slurry pit, which is at 60,000 liters, and our milk tank is filling up. It's at least 10,000 per day, so we're taking care of that. And we still have, yeah, we got time to take a look back here. We've also got plenty of food. We're working our way through these bales here, but we've got plenty of food and plenty of straw. Yeah, we haven't even... I didn't calendar these, but we haven't even moved past the... One of these is second cut, one of them is first cut. I guess the black ones are first cut, the white ones are second cut. We haven't even got it all the way through second cut yet, so we'll be fine. And we still have plenty of hay bales if we need to take anything out to Seaview. I doubt we will, because they have... there's so many bales out there already, and there really aren't that many sheep, so they aren't going through the grass, the hay rather, very quickly. And I'm trying to think what else. Nothing really. I wanted to drive down and sell the milk. Some of this is seasons, I know, but a lot of it is the map and the map maker. It's the first day of winter. It's just below freezing right now, and it feels cold. Like, looking around this map, it feels cold. It gives me a feeling of like a crisp winter morning. Man, I don't know how map makers do it. I really don't know how they do it. But you don't get this feeling in base game. And part of it is seasons, in fairness. But a lot of it, man, is just the skill of the map maker. The way the lighting looks, it just feels like a crisp winter morning. That is unbelievable. I love it. I love it when a video game can take you places. That is something else. Right, so we'll hop in here. We've got 10,000 liters of milk on board. We're going to sell this, and then we'll just loop back around from the dairy down to the BGA. I've already got a wheel loader down there. I leased it, and I had to do a little bit of I had to break the immersion, or at least break the immersion off camera. I realized that I loaded that pit up and compacted it and covered it, and I had forgotten to record my CoursePlay course to unload it. So what you can do when that happens is just start another save game with the same map, whatever piece of equipment it is that you want to build the CoursePlay course for, buy it or lease it, whatever, build the course, and then just delete that save game. Because the courses are saved in a separate folder, it will be intact, and in this case it is. So I was able to build an unload course in CoursePlay and not have to drive up on top of the compacted silage. You can do it that way. I just feel like it's not as accurate. But yeah, look at these. Look at the shadows on the right side of the road. Does that not just look like a morning to you? If you've ever been out working early on a winter morning, it just has that feel to it. Yeah. That's amazing. It really, really is. Bullet Bill, well done, my man. Well done. And what else is going on? Oh, we need to decide what fields to buy as well, because we'll have probably 200,000 minimum from the silage that we're going to sell, and we can spend a lot less on fertilizer this coming year, and possibly even less on animal food, depending on how long what we have put up now, how long that lasts us. We might not have to buy food for quite a while. Or from another angle, our grass, all the grass work that we do can go into silage to sell rather than reserving part of it as animal food. So we may have a very, very good summer. And with that in mind, I'd like to think about what fields to buy. I'm on the fence. I really am. Part of me wants to get some fields up near Seaview, but to work them, that would involve hauling equipment. Now, it's not that bad, right? We would need to take a cultivator out there in the spring. We would need to haul a slurry sprayer out there. things like that. It's a 5-minute trip. It's not that big a deal, but I do like to keep things sort of consolidated in the same neighborhood for efficiency's sake. So we could buy fields at Seaview, we could buy fields near Bramble Lane. Both have advantages. One thing that I really do want to kind of focus on is arable crops, and I'll tell you why. Silage has always been the ejector seat in this game. If you need money, if you're in a pinch, just plant some corn, harvest it for silage, and you can make a couple £100,000, couple €100,000, whatever currency it is that you're using. It's a very quick, easy way to make money. Almost too easy, I think. Even with seasons, even on hard mode, it's almost too easy. And I don't want us to just turn into another silage empire, a grass empire, as we did on Gazelsberg. So I think it's important to get back up here. I think it's important to diversify a little bit. And in particular, if we're going to have pigs, if we're ever going to have pigs, we will need to... There we are. We will need to grow some root crops for them. And some either canola or sunflower. And we have canola, and we can, what we harvest next summer, we can reserve part of that and leave it in the silo for our future pigs. But we will need root crop at some point. So with that in mind, the fields, in fact, we can take a look at them right now. Let me see. I'm going to go here. Yeah, these fields behind Seaview, if I can zoom in here, 10 and 11, and I guess even 1 for that matter. They're not terribly expensive, and they're flat. That's the important part. They're flat. If we want to stay down near Bramble Lane, these fields are all sort of hilly, like field 4-8 is pretty steep, but if we were to come down here, sort of right next to Bramble Lane, field 5-5 is a little flatter, and field 6-2 is a little flatter. So either one of these could have potential, and they're very close to our yard. So that's something we'll have to decide. All right, we're all done here. That's something we'll have to decide between now and next spring. And it's also going to get very interesting. I'm glad we got CoursePlay working. I'm glad we got GPS and Proceed sort of back in the mix, but it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of time we have and really kind of be disciplined about our management and how we run our projects, because we will run out of time. With 6-day seasons, we will run out of time to get everything done. Being able to put things on CoursePlay and move on to another task will help, but we could still, even our grass work for third cut, it was going to rain every day of autumn, or it was forecast to rain every day of autumn. I think one day it did not, but the forecast said it would. And so that meant if we didn't want to have loss when we harvested that grass, we needed to get it done while it was dry. Oh, there's that awesome shadow again on the left. I love it. That long early morning shadow. Beautiful. So we had to really knock all 7 of those grass fields out before it rained. And that was why I rented the Big M. Not realistic, but all right. So as we continue to expand and have more and more fields and more tasks, we're going to run up against time crunches like that more and more often. And in a way, I'm looking forward to it. It's a fun problem to solve, but it's also, I mean, there will be a time when we can no longer farm this map solo if we continue expanding. There will be a cutoff at some point. Moment, please. There they go. At some point, there will just be too many fields for us to manage, and at that time, we can plant a cover crop and just sort of mothball a couple of those fields. There's no way to sell them. Now, I was told you can edit the XML and do various things to make fields, not yours anymore. Essentially, you give ownership of them back to the AI and then credit yourself that amount of money. But there's no way to sell fields. Where do we want to put this so it's not in the way? I think we can put it right here, but I don't want anything to be too close to a possible trigger or a travel path. How about right over here? I see a spot. Our wheel loader is not going to get back this far. So we will stuff this back here. Hopefully there's no invisible wall. And there's a save game. Felt like an invisible wall, but it faked me out. All right. Engine off. Carefully step back from here. And this is our JCB wheel loader that we leased. We'll go in here first and pop the cover off this. All right. That's open, and it is 672,000 liters. Fantastic. We're at 10 minutes for time. Great. Everything is working out. So if we come over here and mount the whip, right, then when we look in CoursePlay, we will load our course right there. I called it BGA North Unload. Come on. There it is. And what we will need to do is go here, here. We will need to, you have to do this for every vehicle, but we will need to set the positions for our bucket. So first one will be loading. And I think, get started up here, get some power into the hydraulics. I think we're not bad right there. You know, you get a little bit of a grace. You know, you don't need to be absolutely scraping the ground for it to capture the entire pile. So for now, let's say that's there. Transport will be right about like so. It's flat here, and we would want that down low enough that our pilot could see over it. Right, like so. Pre-unloading. Now this one's really low. It's not, if that hopper was mounted up above ground, as they often are, we'd need to go a little higher. But for now, we can do this right here. And again, we'll want that up high enough that now our driver can see under it. And is that all the way back? So that's pre-unloading. And then unload will be like that. All right. So if we test any of those, like so, right? Right. Beautiful. All right, brake is off. And we have gearbox deactivated right now, so we don't need to worry about whether or not gearbox will turn off for CoursePlay. And what I'll do is I'll pull back here and turn on the entire course so you can see it, and just tell you quickly how you set this up if you're not familiar with the process. So the whole course looks like this. And let's see if I can zoom out a little bit there. Yeah, you can see it off in the distance. So what we'll do is we'll pull all the way into the bunker where that P is sort of floating in the air. Looks like a parking lot indicator. Where that P is, that indicates the front of the bunker, and then there's another one you can see in the distance that represents the back wall of the bumper. You have to set those manually. And as I understand it, the first one is where it will start looking for silage or whatever it is that you're picking up. You can do it with other things other than silage, but this is typically what I use it for. And then in the back, that's as far as it will go to look for it. And it does look left to right. So it will continue to work on the entire face of the pile. It won't just go straight down the middle and carve a channel through it. It will look around and find it all in there. And you can see we come back, we back out, we drive over toward the other pit, turn around, come over here and dump. There's another P. Yeah, you can see that floating. That indicates our dump point. And then we pull back around here, do another 3-point turn, and stop. The possibility of this working, I give it 50-50, maybe less. And we're going to slow our turns down and slow everything down, because this just works better when everything is going very, very kind of cautiously. It doesn't have to necessarily be slow. You just don't want a lot of speeding around. All right. Drive control settings. We got that there, and we want to. I'm gonna pull up a little bit because I want it to start at the first point rather than the last. All right, we'll turn that off again, and we'll see how she goes. All right. Slow, stately. It's worth it, trust me. We can bump these speeds up a little bit more depending on how things are working, but you don't want to start with your speeds too fast. And occasionally what this will do is get sort of bound up on the 3-point turns as it's crossing over from one side to another. So if you want to lay your 3-point turns out so it's almost, rather than going straight down to a point and then backing up, if you can sort of spread the sides of your turn out, if that makes sense, almost make it more like a V, that will help keep the paths from crossing over each other too often, and that can help. But, you know, it's CoursePlay. I'm reluctant to say that it's random, but sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't work, best thing to do is just delete the course and try again. And you can do the same thing several times. And the first 2 or 3 times it won't work, and then you do exactly the same thing, or what seems like exactly the same thing. Do it one more time, and it works just fine. It's a mystery. It's CoursePlay. All right, let's see what we got. We dump. Suspend your disbelief. We're not all the way out over the trigger, but close enough. And I think this might just work. If it does, I'm going to hop out and let it run through one more time. All right, that's the back of our last 3-point turn. And then it, hopefully, starts again. Beautiful. So we'll watch it run one time from outside. Just confirm everything is working. And then off camera, I will bump those speeds up a little bit because at, what's the capacity on that bucket? It's like 2,500 liters. So that is 40 times 6, what, 240 cycles to empty this thing? Oy! That is something that I would not want to do manually. Thank you, CoursePlay. All right. So far, so good. And this course is saved. So what I can do is, as I'm taking care of the animals over the winter, I can plug this course in, let it run a few cycles. Well, more than that. Let it run 30 or 40 cycles. Pause CoursePlay, stop the game, save the game, right? And then when I reload it, I can take care of my animals again, speed through a day, and set this up as well to continue running. So, yeah, I'm happy with this, and I'm very relieved that it worked first time. CoursePlay is the best and worst mod that I know of. Right. Yeah, most of it goes in there. Beautiful. Right on. So we'll let this keep running, and I will get through the rest of winter. Next episode will be the first day of spring, and we will figure out what we want to do with those fields as far as, you know, where we want to buy them and what we want to put in them, and we'll go from there. There you have it, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 17. This is the Western Shore. We'll see you next time. Take care now.